didn't totally chintz out on Bulgaria. And I rode across half of the country. I rode from Greece to Bulgaria. Today's the 13th of July, 2010. So, Bulgaria is difficult to bike tour through because it's very hilly, as opposed to mountainy. I mean, I think hilly would be even harder to bike tour through than mountainy because you keep breaking your rhythm. You go straight up and then you go straight down and your legs get cold, and then you have to go straight up again, and so your legs get sore and have to get the blood going in them again, and then you go straight down, and it was really hot. But Bulgaria is really hilly. There's lots of mountains with timber line past the tundra on them, so it's kind of like Colorado, and there's some towns I saw that are like right up on the side of the mountain, and I thought that was really pretty. And then I went up a valley, a steep canyon that was really pretty, with a river going through it. And I didn't see any litter at all in Bulgaria. I saw litter literally everywhere in Bosnia. I saw it all over the place outside of Belgrade, Serbia. Although not so much in the countryside of Serbia. And I saw it all over, like, the outskirts of Tirana, Albania, but yeah, nowhere in Bulgaria or Sofia was there trash everywhere, so they pick up after themselves. And as far as the people go, Sofia is a very pretty place. It's a traveler said, Sofia's boring, don't spend too much time there. And then the Bulgarian I stayed with said, I guess he's had like 10 couch surfers stay, and he's like, they always ask me what's to see in Sofia, and I say there's not really anything to see because it's a young city, only 100 years old. It became the capital in like 1895 or something, and it was only like the 6th biggest city in the country, and now it's the biggest by like 10 times or something. It's got 2 million people, and the old capital is like the 6th biggest now or something. So it's a young city, but I explored around on my bike, checking out cities. Like, if you give yourself an entire day to check out a whole city on your bike, you can see a lot more. What I do is I buy a map of the city, and then I look at the map and I look at the parks, places where there's a roundabout around it, and, monument insignias on the map. And I just go to all of them all day long until I run out of time, and I film them, and then I feel like I've seen a lot of the city. And I like to ride around kind of as much four corners of the city as I can, so I feel like I know the city layout and everything, and it's really enjoyable for me. It's one of my favorite parts about traveling, and so I feel like I met both Sofia, or they call it Sofia. But yeah, the city's really pretty. They have this really big forest, like really thick jungle right in the center of the city. It's really big. It has this huge, like, what do you call them? Outdoors up in the trees, like Tarzan place for the little kids to cruise through. It was really cool. And then the skateboarding. So at a cool intersection, there's lots of people out and about, sitting in the parks, jam-packed in the parks. People don't go to the parks as much in America, so there's some other countries here that I saw lots of people are out in the parks and stuff. But yeah, it seemed like there were lots of parks, and it was surrounded by mountains on every side as far as I could see. Especially in the south, there was a snow-capped mountain that I could still see snow on. Bulgaria has the highest mountain in the Balkans. It's 20 meters taller than Mount Olympus, which is the second highest mountain in the Balkans, which I climbed the other day, and it was like a mountain experience. So, Bulgaria, you could say, is kind of like Colorado. Not nearly as there's numerous mountains, but yeah, it's pretty. And as far as the people go, Bulgarian people are very soft and mellow. They're not easily excitable like the Greeks were. And the next video I'll do what I think about Greeks. You know, or like the Spanish or the French can be, or the Brazilians or Moroccans or whatever. They're really soft, really mellow, and like they don't honk at all. Except, well, when I'm riding my bike down the highway, they honk to like, hey, bike tourist, honk. Not as much as other countries, but I mean, when I was going through like Serbia, Montenegro, Bosnia, especially Montenegro, Kosovo, people were honking at each other all the time, and not like the way, like the reason Americans would, like, get the fuck out of my way, but just honking for like no reason at all, just honking, like talking to each other with their horns. And I don't think I heard a single honk in Sofia. They don't honk, you know, and they're really mellow too. Like I was standing in the way of some dude on a bike, and he needed to go up a ramp, you know, next to the stairs, and he just like stopped and was like kind of like track standing there and didn't say anything. So then I kind of moved out of the way and he went, you know. So they're kind of like mellow like that, and they did seem like really kind of like, yeah, like mellow, calm people. And the girl who I did couch surfing with, when I was talking on the phone, she was like giggling a lot, and she giggled a lot when I went there at the house, and I think I saw some other people kind of like giggly, and that's one of the things that I noticed about Macedonia, is that they were always giggling. Especially this one girl who worked at the hostel was always giggling, like talking and laughing. And the Macedonians were really, really friendly. And the guy, Angel, who I was staying with, he said that Bulgaria and Macedonia are kind of like the same country. They're like sister countries. Like maybe they shouldn't even be different countries. They speak the same language, although it's a different... Well, they don't speak the same language. Like Bulgarians speak Bulgarian and Macedonians speak Macedonian. I guess that's why they're different countries, but they're very similar languages. Like they can actually understand each other. So maybe they're not different languages, but they're different dialects. And I noticed that too. Like da means yes here, you know, and in Serbia and in Macedonia. I guess like Serbia, Macedonia, Bulgaria are kind of like sister countries because they use Cyrillic alphabet, which is the alphabet that the Russians use, and they have like kind of a similar language. So I guess they're Slavs. I guess Bulgarians are Slavs. But anyways, Bulgaria kind of seemed like Macedonia in that respect. You know, really friendly, mellow people who giggle. It's pretty cheap here, I think. My hotel wasn't bad. The train isn't bad. The infrastructure, it seemed like kind of a poorer country because, you know, they have like cobblestones all over the place in Sofia. This train is really old. And my train ticket was actually really cheap. I mean, I think I spent about maybe even less on this train ticket for a train ride that's going to end up being 10 hours than a train I took into Vienna, which was only 2, you know, so yeah, but I mean the people, they look white, like normal white people. Maybe there's some people who are big and stocky. That was my impression of Bulgaria when I was younger, is like, at least for a while, like Bulgarians are like stocky, big, stocky. But yeah, they're just white people, and they're taller than the Greeks. I did notice that Greeks aren't really that tall, and actually a lot of Greeks are really short. But I'll talk about that later. Alright, that's about it. What an American thinks about Bulgaria. Hello, this video is what an American thinks about Greece. Today is the 13th of July, 2010, and I just got done with traveling almost a month through Greece. I'll get on my computer and I'll figure it out later to here tonight. Greece, I was in Greece. I did all of Greece. I rode my bike from Albania down to some town, and then my rack broke, and they didn't have any new racks on that day, so I just took the boat from there into Patras, and then I rode from Patras to the beach, to Sparta, to Corinth, Athens, Delphi, Mount Olympus, and the island of Ios, and I saw all those places, and Mycenae. So I totally did up Greece right, and I'm happy about that. yeah, Greece, as far as like traveling to as a traveler, you know, that's one of the highest destinations anybody would want to go to because of the history. And maybe I'll do another video about it later, talking about my experience seeing the ancient Greek history and historical sites, because they were amazing. I mean, probably more than I thought they would be. I mean, they were amazing, all of them. And maybe I'll do that on another video. Greek, the country, is just as expensive as Western Europe. It's like, at least it seemed to me, like you know, Germany and Holland and, you know, Switzerland and those places. It's just as expensive. Same prices for everything. To use euro. But the infrastructure is just as good too, as far as the roads go.